It's happy to have you here. Uh, I don't know how many of you watched the funeral for the Pope, but it was very interesting. And I found myself uh, rooting for the Catholics that were going through such a difficult time with this loss. And I think we have to hold them in our hearts. I think the Pope is taking care of himself. I get a feeling that he was zoom up there and welcomed with open arms in heaven. But the fact that we lost somebody who was doing so much good on the planet is difficult. And so if we could think about him today, because I have a feeling that's a great balance for the goddess. We've got this male who is in spirit, who's just there, and we've got the goddess who has been in spirit for centuries, but who's still with us. So we've got these two male and female energies around us. So just hold that energy, that male energy and that female energy around you today, this morning. I want to thank you so much for being here, and nice to have you. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Donna and Kevin. Thank you, Sky. Thank you, all of you, for showing up this morning. It's a weird weather here. I don't know how it is where you live, Patty and Joyce, or Annie, or Mel, and Sean, but it's weird here. So just know that the weather is going through some difficult times. But welcome all of you to this morning.
Hi, everybody.
And we'll start out with our wonderful Janet.
Yeah. Okay.
And Jan, if you want to just do a prayerful song or a prayer or a song, anything that you want to do this morning, it's open for you. Just as long as we leave time for Ruth, we're fine.
You sing an hour-long song though, like props to that. I can't even pronounce that. Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
I'll just hold up the book and be like, "Go buy this book." Okay, done.
And then we'll just chat from there on.
Well, it's amazing because each and every one of you, I'm here especially, I'm very excited about Beltane and very excited about Ruth Renate guiding us through this powerful time, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. And I made this special purple candle that also has a little, I don't know if you can see it, like a little sunlight, like the beckoning of summer.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think of purple and lavender and green as being the colors of Beltane, and I just love the energy that we can all gather forth to plant our seeds and give new birth and remember how powerful we are.
Wonderful.
And
Thank you.
Remember that community is right there with us.
Great. Great.
Let's put that right over here so I don't knock it down. So I just invite you to just settle in and take a nice deep breath and feel the comfort and the safety of the chairs that you are in, and just allow yourself to open up to the birth of summer. So spring, we plant the seeds, but Beltane is about fertilizing those seeds and bringing them forth into the world. And it's wonderful. And so just imagine that in the midst of all of this chaos that we are going through, just think of yourself as a beacon that rises in its light. And each and every one of you has that capacity to be present for yourself and for the world. You are a exactly the energy that we need. So just go inside in whatever way you do to get in touch with your heart and your body and your soul and your spirit and your mind. What seeds, what potent and powerful seeds do you have to plant? What are the seeds that you have planted that are now ready to sprout and come forth into the world? Your gifts are unique to you. Only you can bring them forth. So just allow yourself to meditate upon that. What are the gifts that I bring? How can I nurture those gifts? And how can I bring them into community and to our world? Only you, my friends, only you can bring that unique presence that is you. And as we are gathered to honor and celebrate and be, let us remember too also what and who we have maybe lost. And let's lift our spirit up to meet them with joy and with the love that never dies. That love is there for us on all the planes of our existence. And Beltane is a reminder to honor and celebrate that beautiful love. And so with every breath, just know that we are held in the greater arms of the universe, and that we are gathered to share the seeds of our gifts, sprouting, growing, and being, as we are in this circle with each other. Rising from the ashes, we fly, opening up our wings, we reach for the sky, and every moment we're opening our seed, remembering, this is what we bring. Oh, the gifts of the night and the power of the day bring us home to the light, and we see our way back home, 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 our way back home. So we dance in the firelight, and we hold each other's arms, and we know that we are a circle and no harm, and we'll dance by the firelight, and we'll be all that we can be, and hold the firelight
Oh, thank you so very much. That was beautiful. What a wonderful beginning. I had you start out before we talked about birthdays and what's coming up and everything, because I know you can't be here for all the service this morning. So thank you so much for starting our service. Now, any birthdays? Anybody have a birthday this week? I don't know how you're all getting older without any birthdays. This has got me confused. And we have Joan here this morning. And do you have some announcements, Joan?
Well, I want to remind people that Brigadoon on May 24th is a nice musical. It's kind of a time-lapse thing, so it's in a way it's a metaphysical experience. And the music is simply wonderful. Then on June 22nd is the Psychic Fair that's being put together by Living in Light Church on Center Road. And mark your calendars to come and participate in however you choose to participate. It'll be much bigger and grander this year than it was previously. It was a very nice event when they did it before. So mark those 2 dates, and please let me know if you plan to come to Brigadoon so I can look for you. Okay.
Well, I love the idea of going to see Brigadoon. Thank you so much for putting that together. That's wonderful. That was the name of my bookstore. For those of you who were around for that long, you can remember Brigadoon in Los Gatos. And it was quite an interesting bookstore. We had books of all kinds, and I did readings and just had a wonderful clientele. So I'm mentioning this because please keep doing business with local people. Please, because with everything that's going on, they need your support. I know it's great to be able to just pick up the phone and call and order something and have it delivered. But there's still so many people that are depending on us to walk in and use their facilities. And so
thank you for saying that, Dottie. I just wanted to say that one of the things that Corey brought up to me a couple of days ago, she goes, if you're getting stones or crystals or anything, it's so good to be able to touch them,
right.
To be able to build a relationship with them. And that's why we're going to Universal Connections and some other stores to just support them, but also to actually feel the instruments you're going to use for healing,
Right.
And it also helps us keep in community with each other.
Yes.
And I would love to announce that we're having our wonderful Joyce C. at our speaker series. So I encourage you, come to our speaker series on the second Tuesday in May. It's going to be wonderful.
Great. What's Joyce going to be speaking about? Joyce, what are you going to be talking about?
Oh, good morning, everyone. I'm going to be talking about what it takes or what you can do to learn how to like yourself.
Oh, wonderful. Yay, that's great.
It's very important because I started discovering that in my mid-teens, but I really didn't get it going until in my 30s. But it's been going ever since. And so I'm 75 now. So I've been working it for a bit that I like me.
Wonderful.
So I just want to share that.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great. Okay. And I want to thank you for people that sent in donations to the center here. That's been wonderful. Thank you so much for adding to our help. We have quite a few people that have called us that are needing money, and we've been able to help them out. And so thank you so much. And I have some people that it comes through the mail monthly. I want to thank those people too. It's wonderful to hold up your belief system, and hopefully that's what we have. Now, talking about our belief system, we have the wonderful Ruth, Minister Ruth, Renate?
Yeah.
Ruth Renate, and she's going to be speaking about
Beltane.
Well, I'm letting them guess. Okay, are you ready?
Everyone's fuzzy. I'm as ready as I'll ever be today.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Hi, Ruth. Welcome.
Welcome.
Greetings and salutations. Yes, this is my second large cup of
Go for it,
sweet
girl.
church coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes, I am now so used to church coffee that when I went to Starbucks for my favorite drink over there, it wasn't my favorite anymore. It didn't taste good. And I think it's because it wasn't church coffee.
Wow, that sounds-
Come by the house.
You want superior coffee?
Coffee.
Skip Starbucks and come straight over Dottie's and purchase. Got it.
We'd love to see you. Corky will make a pot of coffee for anybody.
I will.
I am going to be getting the bulk of my information is from this awesome book. It is called Irish Witchcraft. The subtitle is From an Irish Witch. It's by Laura O'Brien. She's a reverend. She's a pagan priest from Ireland, and her for Unmorion, or we call it the Morrigan. So and then her life partner is John O'Sullivan, and the one he's dedicated to is the spouse of Unmorion. So it's really kind of nice and sweet how that works out. The Dagda, both of which are Irish deities, and they run the Irish pagan schools, and they're really big on diversity and equity and inclusion. How about that?
Yeah.
And about knowing the distinction between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation and anti-colonialist. So they're really like super thoughtful in everything that they do, and a really amazing resource. I actually bought a physical book, even though I had the Kindle, because I want to be able to hold out the nice physical book. So, and part of why I'm also saying this is the book might be not only from the book, but there is a passage that she wrote in here, a poem that I want to read to start out with before I go into any of the little stuff. And she wrote it back in 2004 for this time, for what we would call a Beltane. More on the name later. And just so y'all know, I emailed them through their Irish pagan schools and asked them for permission to read this poem. And they gave me written permission that I'm allowed to read this poem. And they looked at CCL's website, and they're like, oh, it looks like they align with our standards of being thoughtful and inclusive. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but basically that's what they said. And
Wow, the website worked.
yes, it did. Good job. And they said I could use it as long, of course, as I gave credit. And my first thought was, who wouldn't give proper credit?
Right.
But then again, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, there are those people who,
Yeah,
But
but
anyway, sometimes you just gotta say the boilerplate stuff. So anyway, I got permission to read this poem,
okay.
and it's just, I'll say nothing. I'm gonna just read this poem. The title is just a second. All that we must leave behind. She stands, silent, hooded, darkened countenance, shifting, muted, inescapably there, her face, unknowable, terrible, hidden. She is everything and nothing. Two spears, weapons of truth, imperative, thrusting knowledge and awareness, slaying all that we must leave behind, forcing all that we must discover, darkness and strength, power and insight, fear and finding. She stands, connected, terrified, thrilled, facing the great queen, back into her own, coming home.
Nice.
When I read this again this week, I knew I had to ask for permission, and I was just delighted that she said yes, because yeah, we all
That's the
probably
right thing
felt
to
it
do,
too,
right.
because damn, because this time of year, when you think about where back in Ireland, when this was, the forebears there were celebrating this time, it was more of a rural community, right? And so it was like they've already started the planting of the seeds. And so now is the time when the seeds are beginning to grow, and they're having to continuously tend it to make sure that everything is growing well, right? You can't just plant it, water it, and then walk away and expect it to have it be ready in August. You come harvest time, like that doesn't work. It's a very thoughtful yet hopeful time, right? Name. We're going to go back to the name. So we call it Beltane, but in reality, that is actually not the English name for the holiday, for the celebration. It's Irish people have too many letters and it's just, their language is too complicated, so we're going to make this dumbed down version of the name. Some etymological research was done on it to try to figure out, what's up with the Beltane name, and that's why it's called Beltane here, because English people and here all decided that a simpler version was better, but it's originally spelled Beltaine. I wrote it really big in my little notebook. I don't know if anyone can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Just so they have a visual. Anyway, and there are two Irish pronunciations in Irish Gaeilge. That's how I pronounce it. It's not Gaelic. I think it's Gaeilge, but I just know it's not Gaelic. Okay. Anyway, and the first pronunciation is Beltane, which I like because it has the word owl in it, and that makes me happy. So Beltane, or Baltane. So I thought that was interesting, and it makes no sense to me why they would take a 4 to 3 syllable word and turn it into a 2-syllable word, because my brain is like, okay, if you don't like the spelling, at least keep the pronunciation. Like, come on, y'all. Anyway, so I just thought that was interesting, and since all of us here really care about respecting of other cultures, because even though Irish belief system, the Irish pantheon, right, even though it's all technically a open practice, it doesn't mean you can just, it's a good idea to just openly disregard real Irish native traditions and that sort of thing. So I thought I would share that, so just to add to, so I like to call it Beltane, but then I also know that people don't know what the heck I'm talking about, so I kind of bounce between the two, so that, people know what I'm talking about. So that's my way of currently handling it, because you gotta deal with who you're living around, right? Anyway, so this is a fire festival, and here's what's interesting. Okay, so usually when we see the wheel, we usually see, I'm going to show the cover of this book, we usually see it in this really gorgeous style, like
nice.
wheel of the year, right? you know, it's really nice and really beautiful. But there was something when I was preparing for this talk and reviewing things, and because I didn't want to forget things, and I also want to be mindful
Show
of
it
what we're
again.
going to need today.
I've got it up close.
That
There we go.
Oh, that's beautiful.
right? People talk about it like in this beautiful way. You should just keep it up like that, because I'm going to show something else in a second.
Okay.
So, but when I was going through everything again, because even if you're talking about something that you've talked about before, you always end up having to talk about it differently because it's a different time, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was something about it where, when I was reading this beautiful book, that because they called it that the fire festivals are
Right.
cross-quarter days,
Right.
right? And then the solar festivals are the normal ones that we think about, the equinoxes and the solstices. So so while going through it, I was like, all right, so why is it called?
Lift it up.
So why is it called that? So here's what I realized. I didn't understand why are they calling it cross-quarter days?
Here, I'm
I don't
zooming
get
in on it.
Okay, right?
Can you see?
Wrong way.
Here.
There we go.
Yeah, right.
Right? So here, right, there's our spring and
Equinox and
our equinoxes, right? Spring and autumn equinoxes. And then up and down, right? Sorry, this is awkward. Up and down. Oop. You know, we have our solstices, right?
right. Okay.
Okay. So when you have it in this, you have now this box that's basically cut up in like when you play Foursquare as a kid.
Mhm,
You remember
right.
playing Foursquare? You got 4 little squares.
In the quarters, right?
And it's all into quarters. Oh, they're cross quarters. That means they're going in between. That means it's between the quarters. Cross quarters. See, it's going across the quarters. That's why it's called cross quarters.
That's why it's called what?
Cross quarters.
Oh, okay.
That's why they're also called cross quarter days. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
understand it. I didn't get it. I'm like, why are they calling it that? That makes no sense. But there's something about the book that Joan gave me, reading it, that made me go, oh.
That was
Now I get it.
from April. Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't. She didn't buy it.
And that made it make more sense to me. And I think it's important to have that, because when I saw it just plain in just lines and not the pretty, I could see also more clearly where things are complementary, kind of like complementary colors,
Mm-hmm.
because the complementary season to Beltane, which is I like that one. I said that already. Sorry. To Beltane is Samhain. Or is it Samhain? They
Yeah.
always say S-O-W, and so and sow are both used
Right.
that way, so
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure. I need to double check that. And I thought that was interesting because this is also a time of thinning of the veil. People talk about that with sewing all the time, but it's also, this time of year is also a thinning of the veil. And it's a time for...
Ruth, what is thinning of the veil? What does that mean?
means being able to communicate with the other world across
Dimensions?
well, I wouldn't call it dimensions, because that's not how I conceptualize dimensions. I use the more mathematical model in understanding dimensions, but it's like
So the
it's
thinning,
like, you know how when you communicate with your spirit guides or with
yeah.
so
it's a time of year when that's easier?
when it's
I see.
it's easier to have influence by otherworld things on the other side,
Oh, okay.
not just like right here in this dense mortal matter stuff. Yeah. So, Fire Festival. I'm pretty sure we all live in a city. We're not in a rural place. We're not gonna do the traditional, have 2 bonfires and then walk around and in between the bonfires with everybody and with all of your cattle. None of us have cattle. And be able to and they would do that to make sure that and the cattle would get slightly scorched like the fur, and that was part of protection, which kind of makes sense. So if you have any mild infections or bug infestations on like your cattle, whatever, because sometimes nasty stuff can get in on the feet and the things like that. They would, just burn that up.
Great.
Burn all that off.
Very practical.
Very practical. It is very practical. It's all very practical. We celebrate it. We talk about celebrating it on May Day, but in Irish tradition, it actually starts on the day before. And it's just so that you have the time and everything for this, and then you also wait for the sun to rise, so, or greet the sun on the following day. And that's what's also kind of cool too, is that not only is there greeting the sun in the morning, but there is an Irish remedy where you can collect the dew that have been touched by the Beltane rays of the sun and use that for beautification or protection and other blessing type works for yourself and your who you care about, your family, your loved ones, all that. So there's something you can do for the holiday if you're wondering.
So would they be sharing like bags of herbs, pouches, protection and stuff?
Sure. Because it's not just the bonfires, there's also like this whole festival thing where people would dress up. Someone would be like the grand fool and lead all those completely ridiculous games, and it just just revel in.
Just like a festival.
It really is. It's just like a festival. Everyone's having fun. It's sort of like she describes in here. It's a little bit like Samhain in some of the revelry aspects to it, but it's less scary because instead of winter coming upon you,
it's like Halloween.
It's right. It's the summer that's coming upon you. The solstice that's coming up is the summer solstice when there's more sun. And it makes sense too that even though it's a fire festival, collecting the dew, because in order for our crops to grow, you need also the water, not just the sun. Right?
True.
So that connection made sense to me. Yes. Other things that you can do for this. About lighting fires. So that I didn't finish. We're not going to be lighting bonfires. So even if you have like a bunch of land and you could technically do something, look, we all know, especially if you live in California, like, don't mess with it, right? Unless you really understand fire, don't mess with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are things that you can do instead. You could, instead of having 2 bonfires, you could do 2 candles and symbolically move something through.
Make a cat.
Yeah, well, I want to use your cat. But you have your 2 candles, and if you want, and if you're doing like a blessing or a protection spell, to leave behind something that
Janet has
not working.
the 2 candles up.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Thank you, Janet.
You can use that to pass it through. I also thought, you could use 2 little bowls if you wanted to like burn the whole, because one thing you can do if you want to do, sometimes it's just helpful to write down what it is that you're, what the blessing is, and what you want to leave so that something better can come in. So write it down, and some people find it helpful not only to just write it down, but actually to also burn it, and that's another way of having some kind of fire. But you need to do that in fire safe dishes. And if you don't have, proper like dishes for that, you can always use a tin can. I mean, we all get canned goods. That's not a hard thing to obtain, right? And you could just put it all in a couple of tin cans and do it that way.
I put in cans.
Well, you use the cans as a thing to burn things in.
Oh. This gives me joy. I'm lifted. I'm sorry.
Well, I know. Maybe you do love cans that much, and the nice shape, so cylindrical. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, I'm just trying to think of things that us in this who don't have rural lives, that we are still connected to the agricultural life, because what happens on the farms and the ranches and things all impact us, which we all kind of know whenever there's bird flu and all the eggs suddenly are really expensive. It's easy to figure that out then. But in these festivals, that sometimes it's easy to be removed from it, because we are removed from it. So it's really easy to forget how connected we really are to it.
So, Ruth,
Yes.
what I hear you saying is that to write down your prayers or wishes or goals and put them in a tin can, 2 tin cans, and burn them and make kind of a ceremony about it.
Yes, that is an alternate option, or you can just use 2 candles and wave it between the 2 candles or what. But yeah, that is like an option, because we don't have.
So it adds energy to your hopes and dreams and goals.
Yeah.
For the next season.
Right. It's like if you want to have a bonfire, and you don't have a fireplace, you don't have, a big plot of land where it's normal for you to be doing that sort of thing. This is like a modern way to do it, when you do it in your home or out on your patio.
So
something that's safe.
Is the day April 30th or the night?
Yes, but yes, but it's okay if it's not exact, because it's not we do things by dates because of the kind of world we live in.
Mm-hmm.
But all the way back then, they did things more about what was happening in the earth. They tracked it differently, so it wouldn't be the same level of, it's going to be April 30th. I mean, for some time, so it might have been April 29th or May 2nd. But it's just everybody starts understanding, oh, here's the vibe, and now we're going to start getting ready for this. And then they plan when they're going to do the celebration and all that kind of stuff.
And Janet had her hand up. Something you want to say, Janet?
I was just going to add to that. I have found that metal bowl works really well for the burning.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking of a tin can, because it's metal.
Perfect. Yeah, and it doesn't do it. So I just take an old big salad bowl, and I've made that
smart.
My burning. Just as long as it's metal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for this, Ruth. This is so good, Ruth Renate.
You're welcome. So also, this is a good time for. Okay, I'm just going to say it's also a good time for sexual or fertility magic.
Well, yay!
Yeah, yay! Bring on!
Where is that?
Fertility can be quite literal. Or you can use it as fertility if you're trying to grow something new you've never grown before. But also, whatever it is that you're nurturing, whatever it is that you got going on. There's just,
so if you have a project going on, like I have my book that I'm writing, this is a good time to write some affirmations about my book and burn it and do a ceremony.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can also if you're not into burning, you can also do it's called a May bush, and traditionally it's with hawthorn, or it could be
what do I do with a May bush?
You decorate it. It's sort of like a Christmas tree, but not, because you're not planting it. You're leaving it where it is, and you're decorating it with your wishes and your prayers and things like that. Of course, you want to use things that are biodegradable, right? Don't be putting some plastic thing up there, please. Let's be mindful, right? But traditionally people will put like little rags, of pieces of cloth, and tie it to represent a prayer, or shells, or things like that. And that's another way of putting it that way. So there's a lot of there's options, because not everybody's comfortable with a fire, or is even allowed to use actual real fire, because some places where you live it's not allowed.
Well, there's a comment from Donna Christensen that before I met Bill, I wrote down my heart's desire and burned it by a white candle, and the Creator brought us together.
That's sweet. I love that.
Awesome! I did that with, not that, but I had a ritual, a mantra that with when I was studying with Monica Sepulveda, and she had this thing, she said, you can get your heart's desire in 30 days, right? And you just do this Om Mani Padme Ma, and this, we used a chant, and I wrote down what I wanted, because you want to, every time you do the affirmation, you want to say it exactly the same way, because that gives it the strength. It doesn't kind of like, well, but now you say you want this, and now you put it this way, so so you want to write it the same way every time. And we did it twice a day, and that's how I got her.
I got mine by being in seminary bloody early o'clock in the morning, because I was Mormon then, and that's what you do when you're a teenager. You get up at bloody early o'clock and go to seminary before school. And that was terrible. And we were told to write down 5 things you wanted in a spouse. I wrote down my 5 things. None of it had anything to do with anything Mormon specific. And I got my very not Mormon but wonderful spouse. So I'm happy with him. But yeah, there's something about just writing down what you want and having it written in your heart so you can get it.
And Stephen says, if you need ideas about ceremonial fire, where you can have a fire, you might research the things, what is that? Conversation? No.
Conservative Jews.
Conservative, thank you. Jewish.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm having trouble. I don't have my reading glasses on either. Can't do on the Sabbath.
Right.
I read that word, didn't I? So I'm
little
not
bit.
sure what it means exactly. Stephen, would you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, well, I'm not a conservative Jewish person. I'm not an expert on them, but I've met many of them, and I just know they can't even flip a light switch. So maybe you can get 2 light switches and walk between them and flip them.
I'm thinking,
that seems...
how is he getting Jewish stuff out of an Irish tradition? I don't know where this. I mean, there are Irish Jews; those exist.
It could happen, but you know,
that's
they deal
interesting.
with they do not light a fire on the Sabbath, so they can't do light switches. They can't light the oven, but they can leave the lights on for the whole weekend. That works. So look at that stuff. If you just need something where you need a fire, look and see what those folks consider a fire and think about it. You don't have to adopt it, but you can think about it.
Well, thank
I
you.
mean,
Thank
I
you.
have used electric candles
Yeah.
for like as a prayer candle, and you're not doing any sort of, 'cause some people, you can use a prayer candle and they will use divination through the way the wax melts and the way the flame flickers. But if you just, the idea is, as long as this candle is lit, this prayer is happening on repeat, and every time you see it, you go, oh yes, there's that prayer, and so it keeps going and going. I would use an electric candle for that when I was figuring out if I could ever do candles, because now I have asthma.
Well, it's like people who have crosses, or whatever their icon is for their chosen religion or practice, that are around the house.
Yeah.
Every time you see it, you reinforce it.
Yeah. It's like a positive trigger. So they like to call it glimmers now.
Call it what?
A glimmer. You know how there's the word trigger, where you've been.
So it isn't quite a trigger; it's just a glimmer. Okay.
Instead of, I always thought of those things as a positive trigger, as opposed to just a plain old trigger that's horrible and miserable and a psychological problem. Anyway, so I just thought of it as, a positive trigger. I like that.
Yeah.
When it's fun going out to the firing range and shooting at pieces of paper, that's a good use of triggers. Anyway, because that's where the metaphor comes from. Anyway,
yeah, because
but people are calling it these days glimmer, calling it glimmer. I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of cute. It makes me think of She-Ra, because there's a character named Glimmer there. But that's cute. I like it.
But you have things like, like kittens. Usually that's a positive thing, and so whenever you think of kittens, you think of playful, loving,
adorable,
smelling like
troublesome, cute balls of
love. It's I do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's never about whatever hassles you have with them. It's always all the fun you have with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's and you can do that with relationships. You can do that with anything. You can turn a bad situation or an uncomfortable situation into a good and friendly and heartwarming situation by remembering what's happened that makes you comfortable and feel good, and keep that in your mind rather than how somebody made you feel bad about yourself. So, a lot of the work that you do, all of the work that you do is an inside job. It all has to come from within.
Huh?
Yeah. So if you're unhappy, you got to look at what's with you all the time. It's you. Sorry. Okay.
Mm.
Or if you're happy, that's similar.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say that I'd rather be happy than right, I don't care about being right. I care about being happy, and I think that's my goal for my life forever.
So so what was it? Was it Thursday or Friday, Lauren? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one day this week where everything was annoying me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Class night.
Oh, it was class night.
Yeah.
Everything was. I didn't go to class.
Better off just shutting yourself in the.
Oh, it's so true. And it was also, of course, the perfect storm for a relationship spat, because I was annoyed at everything and made some unwise decisions. So, and reactions. But it was me. I mean, nobody done anything wrong. It was just me. There wasn't anything. I don't know, but it's okay. It all worked out. I eventually got 14 hours sleep, and I was fine. So,
Girls, go to sleep. Go to bed.
It's all right, right? It's okay. The relationship spat is all patched up and everything, and it's all good. Everyone's just doing their best. But yeah, sometimes it really is just us. Okay, so back to Beltane. There are two things I really want to mention. First is that the maypole, where you have the pole and the ribbons and you dance around it and all that stuff, it's not an Irish tradition. It is not a Beltane thing. That is a straight up English thing. Yeah.
Appropriation?
Well,
Those English.
It's not appropriation. What it is colonialization. It's merging things together. Like the fire festivals are actually more important than the solar festivals.
Say that again?
The fire festivals are more important than the solar festival. So this festival is more important than the solstice. You know, so like, because of the things you have to physically do.
And
during
it's
those
a
times.
beginning.
Right. You know, so the other, we pronounce it Imbolc, that's incorrect, but whatever, but that's a whole nother talk. You know, Imbolc and Lunasa and Samhain, those are, and of course Beltane, they're all fire festivals, and those are like in bold and italics. And the solstices and equinoxes are just in italics. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You know, using font.
Because they're not as important?
Right. They carry a little bit more weight because they're watching for the first thaws. They're planting all of the seeds. They're, you know, and in between.
They're triggers.
Yeah, the in between Imbolc and Beltane, the spring equinox is wonderful, but there's a bit of like, there's a little bit less intensity to it. But that's like a whole nother. See, what I'm really hoping is I'll get them to let me do a whole year wheel of the year, so that we can just talk about all of it. That's my idea, is to convince these wonderful ladies to let me do all of the wheel of the year. Anyway.
So we have 3 minutes, so if there's something in particular that you really want to...
particular thing, the last thing that's really, really important is that I mentioned protection spells. Because the veil is thinner, things are more powerful, you know, it's easier to draw things in and do all that stuff. It's also a good time for people to do baneful work. So, you know, the kind that's not necessarily so good, you can do some justice work and that can be okay, but baneful work is basically purposefully, in order to give yourself blessings, taking away, you're doing magic work to take away someone else's blessings. And my guys told me it was really important to mention this, because the protection work that you do is also to help protect against those people, because not everyone has our best interest in mind. Not everyone is going to be full of, you know, love and light. Some, or you know, or they're just misguided in some way. Mm-hmm. So it's really important to remember that not all energy that can come from the other side is good for you. So practice discernment and use your protection. And it's not about being fearful. It's like you know about germs, so you wash your hands.
Right. So Stephen has a question. He says, are all of the quarter cross events thin times? So that's kind of related to what you're talking about right now.
I am not certain.
Ooh, research.
I know that Samhain is, because that's Halloween time, and
yeah, we know that.
We know that one is, and we know this one is. And I would kind of want to say maybe Imbolc is. That's but that's because I know it's connected to Bridget. But Lunasa is connected to Lou, and that's like all about bread. So kind of maybe, but I'm not sure. So I want to do a little bit more research before I say anything about that definitively.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, because at springtime, when the fairies come out, that's an equinox. When the days are equal, and that's when it's the veil is very thin.
That's around kind of like this time, yeah. Because we just had Easter, and now we're having Beltane, so it all kind of.
I mean,
well,
yeah.
It's
well, Well, it'd
Yeah.
be an equinox time.
Oh,
At
yeah,
equinox
equinox
time.
is before that.
Yeah.
But a general thinning of the veil, that's the part that I go makes go, So I just want to do a little bit more digging before I say anything different.
So should we say like next Sunday you'll come with an answer, or you want to just wait until?
I'll do whatever you want. Sure, I don't care.
So Stephen, you want to commit her to next week, or just whenever she has a chance to get it?
I can just
Well, whenever she gets a chance,
done.
because I'm not going to be around for next week. I'm going to,
How dare you.
yeah, well, no, it's next week. I'm going to go inter my mom, and she's going to be in another state. And, it's,
So
yeah,
sorry to hear that.
yeah. Well, yeah, but it needs done. So,
As long as she
Yeah.
can be happy
well,
Okay.
finally. So
Well,
there.
or content.
So Ruth, to sum it up, this is a great time of year to make decisions about the next few months and the goals that you have and the ideas that you have, and to be specific about them and spend some time and energy solidifying them and working on them spiritually and in your meditation.
Yes.
Because, and it has more power to do it this time of year, these next few days,
Yes.
than it will in other days.
I mean, I won't say any other day could not ever be as powerful. It's just that this day there's this collective ancestral added power to it when you engage in.
Okay, we're gonna have
So
to
I have a
say,
couple of
we're gonna
comments.
have to,
Wait a minute.
Oh, it's 11:01 already.
Yeah, so Sky has made a couple of comments. One is the name Beltane, meaning bright fire, is associated with the Celts, Celtic god Bel,
Oh, no,
or Belenus,
no.
a deity of the, okay, and then she
Not the
also
deity.
said it is
That's not
the
a thing.
time when the veil between the human and spirit world thins, and rituals involving fire and livestock blessings and community rites to encourage growth and protection, protect the land. Okay, so
Yes, that's all
comment.
true. But there is no god, Baal, or anything like that in Irish pantheon. It just is. That's not a
Okay.
thing.
Okay,
okay, so anybody else have anything?
so any
to
final
say?
comment?
If you want a fire god or goddess that's Irish, you can go with Bridget or the Dagda because they're both fire aspected.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay,
so
Anna
much.
has her hand up.
Annie?
Yeah, I'll be real quick. I just always also thought of Beltane as a time of renewal.
Yeah.
So it's it's not just planting, but the some of the ritual that you spoke about, where we lovingly say hooray, hooray, it's the 1st of May, right? But it's time for new blessings, new for the cows to get pregnant, for people to get pregnant, for new plants to grow, for the promise of a future, for the promise of beauty and growth. So, and thank you so much for everything that you informed us on today.
Okay,
Yep.
well, thank you, everyone. Janet's already escaped, so there's no closing.
Oh yes, pass the plate.
Oh, hey, we've got
Donate.
donations.
Yeah. I will make mine through PayPal. safedotty@aol.com.
Regular giving creates regular receiving. So set it up so you give monthly online.
I should. I'll be doing it. I'll just bless it.
I don't know. I think there's something to be said for mindfulness.
Well, sure. Everything should be done in a thoughtful fashion.
Thank you.
Thoughtful.
Thank
and
you,
considerate.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for your donations. They're very much appreciated. And thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Ruth, for your talk.
Yay, thank you, Ruth.
And let's, now, next week, I'm gonna be talking about worthiness. So, tune in next month. Next week. Same thing.
What's your topic?
Worthiness.
Worthiness.
Yes. So.
Am I worthy?
Yes.
Thank you everyone for your comments and questions. I appreciated every single one of them.
Any others that you want to read, Corky?
Well, the sky also said the veil between the human and spirit world is often said to thin around the time of Halloween and pagan holiday of Samhain.
Yeah.
And which falls in on the same day. This belief suggests that during this period it's easier for spirits to communicate with the living. Some also believe that the veil thins at certain locations known as thin places, such as sacred forests, where the spiritual atmosphere allows for easier connection with other worlds. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sky.
Yeah, thank you.
And Ruth. Thank
Yes,
you.
you're welcome.
And so you want to do a 4-time a year thing, huh?
No, 8-time-a-year thing. With
Great.
the whole wheel of year, all of it. I want to do all of it. I want to do all 8.
Okay, so what you need to do?
Once.
Unless
you decide I suck at it, and then you're like, you're not doing this one again.
So Ruth,
Yes.
what? No, never mind. I'll talk to you.
Okay,
Talk to me.
so we're going to say farewell to everyone.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your Sunday morning with us. We really do appreciate having you here. It's
May
been
you be
wonderful.
safe, protected, and fearless.
And
Happy Christmas, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great week. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
so
don't
much.
care about
Safe journey.
channeling.
Okay,
I'm going to get
thank you
Ruth
so much.